Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get.
You said so much there, and I'm going to try to unpack this because it's just, I'm going to try to duct tape my head back together and put the knowledge back in. But you talked about organizational DNA. You talked about the mission, the vision, the values, and beliefs. And I see what you're saying in the great companies. We have had a pleasure to work. I'm doing a speaking event for UPS this month. And when you see UPS, they just get things delivered on time. And you see the difference between that and, let's just say, some other large postal company. You see the difference in the way those two operate. And you see it in small business, where you'll see a small business that's thriving and quickly growing, and you see another one that's stuck.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to that organizational DNA there. So talk to me about, if I'm watching this and I'm going, oh boy, I don't have a mission. I don't think I have a vision. I don't know that I have any values or beliefs. I've always just told my people, do that.
Do that.
You know, do the checklist. For me, management's not about inspiration. It's about just do the thing.
Process. Yeah.
Would you recommend that somebody deep dives into one of your books, or would you recommend that they need to get to a workshop? What is somebody, if they don't have mission, vision, values, or beliefs, what do you recommend they need to do here?
I think the first thing they need to do is just write the question, why should we open our doors again tomorrow?
Okay.
Aside from needing money or wanting to establish ourselves as being the coolest person on the block, why, from a customer's point of view, should we bother opening our doors tomorrow?
Okay.
And when you can answer that well, then you're on the path.
Okay.
If you can't answer it well, get some other people you trust, and people who care about what you're doing, and have them help you come up with an actual statement that says, this is why we exist.
Okay.
You know, like a person says, well, we make fruit that looks so real you could almost eat it.
I tried to eat it earlier.
Yeah,
it was kind of weird.
I noticed the tooth marks, but yeah, it really is well done artificial fruit. Okay, what possible meaning could you have from artificial fruit? Well, first off, that's good for the environment. I'm not putting a bunch of apples out here for decor and having the problem of constantly replacing the ones that have gone bad.
Right.
You know, I could have flowers there and I'd be replacing those all the time. Once this is made, it's permanent.
Yeah.
And as long as I keep this clean, then it's going to serve as a decoration for, indefinite time frame. So that's one reason. Another reason is that you've set a standard for other people, because this looks real.
Yeah, it does.
Other people are then inspired to make their decor also look as real. And so you kind of lift, one person doing better lifts the standard for everybody else.
I'm starting to feel bad about trying to eat these.
Yeah. The reason I picked that is because that's something you wouldn't typically think of as having any meaning.
Well, there's people, though, who are watching this, and I'm just trying to attack it right now, because I know somebody's watching this right now who's going, well, that's a bunch of bunk. I mean, I'm just focused on profits. I'm focused on just making some money. And then if I go to your office and no one's motivated, this is the stuff that motivates. This is the motive that makes the action. This is huge. If you don't have, this is the heart. Yeah. Right? I mean, without this mission, vision, values, and beliefs, it's like a business that has a body but no soul, no heart.
And your vision is what you see coming, in the future. What your dream is, like creating the happiest place on earth was the vision.
Yeah.
And the mission of Disneyland was to create a theme park which would allow that to be done. And they did that in an orange grove area in Southern California and then grew from there.
I think people, when you reference Disney, I don't think a lot of people realize, I think we know about it, but I don't think we realize that what Disney was at the very foundation, when he got it going with his brother Roy and it started taking off, it was a bunch of men and women who were drawing the same thing, different by 1%, over and over and over and over,
Cartoons,
so you
yeah.
could flip it
Yeah.
fast enough to make. So I think to make like
Animated cartoons.
I think it was like
yeah.
a second of animation.
Yeah.
Took however many drawings. I mean, it was an insane. And if you weren't motivated, if you didn't know the motive, you wouldn't have done that. He couldn't have find.
Well, a good way to use that analogy is the story drove the motion. So if I'm drawing a mouse and I have to have the mouse's hand go like this,
Yep.
I've got to know why, because that's got to fit into the storyline that's going to advance this cartoon feature to get to wherever I want it to go.
It's unbelievable to me that when you're talking about this, because there's so many people watching this right now who go, well, I just heard this the other day at a speaking event. It blew my mind. I was just listening to some people talk. You know, during cocktail hour, you hear people talk, and one manager says, you just can't manage millennials. You just can't. I can't do it. And so it was a print shop. You just can't do it. They don't care. All they want to do is get their little tattoos and eat their granola and recycle stuff, and I got to get them to work. And then you hear another guy talking about you can't manage baby boomers. These are people that are already set in their ways. You can't teach them anything. And you hear these different camps.
Sure.
But if you think about it, Disney taught artists. Artists
Yeah.
couldn't be, I mean, if you're watching this and you're artistic, you know what I'm talking about. Motive matters for artists. And he had a huge facility filled with artists who were diligently drawing the same image slightly different all day.
And not computer generated. It was
Yeah.
all by hand. Yeah.
But I mean, if you didn't have a motive there, Disney's not possible.
Right.
So I think a lot of people, if we're being honest, if we were given the keys to Disney, if Disney says, here you go, you can take over,
Yeah.
we might not have been able to do it without the understanding of motive. I mean, it would
Well,
just
let's use
quickly fall
something
apart.
more down to earth for most people, and that is an auto repair shop.
Yeah.
One of my clients is the Automatic Transmission Rebuilders Association.
Okay.
So I work with people who own transmission rebuilding facilities, shops. And you know, you might, if you were one of them, say, well, how does this relate to me? I fix transmissions. No, you don't. I mean, that's a function you perform,
Okay.
but what you do as a transmission rebuilder is you get people back to where their transportation works, and they can rely on it without fear, and
Right.
they don't have to worry and have backup plans for getting across the state to another city because they're not sure whether their transmission would make it. So it's not about fixing a transmission, it's about getting that person back to mobility with that vehicle at an affordable level in a short period of time. And it's about satisfying needs.
Everybody watching this right now, that's something we can all do. We can say, why should we open our doors tomorrow? Why should we do it? We really want to find that motive. And then the vision is you're saying, you're casting a vision saying, this is where we want to be in the future. This is how we're going to get here. Well, I want to get into this because I want the Thrivers to know you can't manage high velocity people. You can't manage moderate velocity people. You can't manage any kind of person for a sustainable time. You can't do it if you don't have your organizational DNA together. You just can't, because people are going to go find another job where they find their why and they find the mission. And they find the vision.
Look at the surveys that have been done about job satisfaction. There's an enormous percentage of the population that are finding their jobs meaningless. They do it because they got to have a job. Got to work somewhere. Got to do it. And that was me years ago. I've been in that position.
And what's interesting about America, without getting on a huge rabbit trail on this, but about America, a lot of the reasons why we did things before is that, we're like, well, I'm thankful for any job because I have to find a way to pay my bills. Yeah. And now people have found other ways to pay their bills. And so now, I'd rather go work as a barista as an entry-level job than work in a factory as an entry-level job because maybe I have more meaning in connecting with people as a barista. And all these studies are showing that the younger demographic, the millennials, really do want to know why. It really does matter. It's a huge thing.
I had more fun working in a drive-in movie back when they still had drive-in movies everywhere.
Yeah.
In the concession stand than I did when I worked in a factory one summer. Hated the factory work.
Really?
Loved the work at the drive-in movie because
Really?
of the customer interaction and the variety of activities.
Well, you talked now, the next couple of things you mentioned was standards and systems.
Yeah.
Can you dive into standards, what you're talking about when
Well,
you say
standards, we will do this at this quality level.
Okay.
So if you're producing neckties, then you want to make sure that all the neckties fit an exact size range, color pattern, texture, that you're always using the same kind of fabrics for the same kind of things, and that they're sewn in exactly the same way, not approximately.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing handmade and that's your unique thing, you know. Then you say this is made by Maud on Tuesday the 5th of July. You know,
Yeah.
You know, then that's fine. But the standards you set are the quality that you have committed to sustain.
Right.
At the Four Seasons Hotel, their standards are very high. At, say, Holiday Inn,
Yeah.
they have high standards, but nothing like Four Seasons. There's a noticeable gap between the two.
I have to talk about this for a second. There's one thriver named Andy, who's, Andy, if you're watching, we stayed at his La Quinta in Rochester, Minnesota. Now, I'm not dogging Minnesota. If
Yeah.
you're watching this and you live in Minnesota, that's great. I actually grew up in west of Minneapolis, a town called Cokato, with
Yeah.
2,038 people,
Yep.
right by the world's largest ball of twine, which I'm sure you've been to for vacation. But
No, but I've seen a photograph of it with
It's-
a motorcycle touring guy standing next to it.
It's something. Well, this guy, Andy, though, we get to the La Quinta. Now, La Quinta, I'm not disrespecting the brand. I'm just saying I have stayed at a Four Seasons and I have stayed at a La Quinta.
Yeah.
So my expectation level when I pulled in was a certain expectation level.
Yeah, and it's set by the company's own standards
There you go.
because they're not going to build a marble foyer
Well, here's what
for a
he-
La Quinta when they can do fine with granite.
Here's what wrecked my mind. This is what happened. I'm there to speak for the Rochester Chamber of Commerce 2 weeks ago. I'm there and I walk in and it is like a Disneyland fused with his La Quinta. And this guy owns a La Quinta. And he decided, he bought a franchise, and he decided to take all of the elements that Lee Cockerell, one of our Thrive mentors, he used to manage Walt Disney World. He took all of these Thrive nuggets on management and customer service, and he implemented it. So I checked in. Awesome. My name is printed on a insert there on this glass thing. It says Mr. Clay Clark and then Mr. Thompson, all these different people. And are you Mr. Clark? They knew when I was flying in because of my air flight. When I got there, they knew when my plane was landing. They knew who I was. They had a little note on a little pillow on our with the note. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I just
and
thought
things that didn't cost a lot on their part. It just took raising their own standards and agreeing to do things more fully than others do.
And I get motion sickness. And so the lady, she says, I understand you get motion sickness. I said, sure. She says, do you want something to eat? Which is, boom, all of a sudden I didn't have to pay for it. She just gave me something from the little concession area. I just was so amazed. Well, then I get to the speaking event, and there is probably a dozen people that are talking about how great his La Quinta is. They're going, would you believe that, La Quinta? And it was just inspiring. Yeah. And so just like that one speaker helped inspire you and change your direction, I thought it was great to see how Andy was applying these principles that anyone can do. But it's just setting a standard that is higher than, so if you're watching this right now, an action item is just ratchet up those standards. Get them up there. It doesn't hurt anybody to offer a little more value, a little more service.
And staying in Minnesota, I've heard, I haven't personally been there to the events, but I've heard that the baseball games of the St. Paul Saints are packed and always great fun no matter what the game is like.
This is true. Now this next thing is systems. Let's talk about the systems, because if I have a mission, right? And I have a vision, I've got my values, got my beliefs, got these great standards, but I don't have any systems. I'm just going, hey, put that over there and try to do this. And hey, do you have a checklist? No.
Yeah.
And what happens in a business without a system?
Well, the same thing that happens to a pilot who doesn't have a checklist. When you're getting in that plane, it's life or death if you mess it up, right?
Yep.
So you need a system that you commit to. Every time I get in this plane, I'm going to go down this checklist, and I'm not going to just do it to get an A in checklist. I'm going to do it to make sure the flaps work. This works, that works, that works, that works, that works, and I'm going to actually look and see every single time I fly the plane. And I'm going to do a walk around, and I'm not going to just do it so other people see me do it. I'm going to do it to see if this plane's ready to carry human life to another location through weather. Right?
Right.
So that's the whole point. Systems are the tools we use to get our intentions into reality.
Can you say that one more time? It just blew my mind.
Systems are the tools we use to get our intentions into reality. Here's another way to think about it. Systems are to an organization as habits are to an individual. So a system is an organizational habit pattern, and it takes a while to develop a habit.
There's a book called The Checklist Manifesto. And that book, you'd love this book, but they study major commercial builders They study Johns Hopkins University, the hospital there. They study all these different organizations. And they found that by studying hospitals all around the world, that fully 1/3 of all of the infections and all of the things they had were they were caused by a doctor who was not required to use a checklist. And it was simple stuff, washing your hands. So they began
and it's the level of washing your hands. I was trained as an Army medic and hospital corpsman, and so I learned how to scrub and how to go for sterile. And then I worked after high school. I worked in a hospital as an autoclave orderly. I ran a machine that sterilized surgical equipment, and thinking back, nobody ever told me how important my job was. They just told me how to do it. But if I were managing me in that role today, I would say, Jim, the reason this matters is after these instruments come out of this autoclave and go upstairs to the surgery, 3rd floor, someone's going to use these to perform surgery on another individual. And if infection is allowed to stay in there and get carried through that instrument, that person could potentially die or be disabled as a result of this surgery.
All of a sudden
what
it matters.
you do, Jim, is a life or death action in this food chain.
There's a friend of mine who owns a Chick-fil-A, is one of our Thrive mentors, and they have a video that Chick-fil-A has produced. And what it does is it shows the customers walking in, and it shows you their inner dialogue.
Yeah.
So you see a
That's
customer,
fun.
but you can see their inner dialogue.
Yeah.
Well, they show it's unbelievable, but it shows one person, and this is a person who just got divorced, and they're with their kid, and the divorce just happened. There's another person who has been diagnosed with a terminal illness, somebody else who just got married, somebody else who just bought a house, someone who's looking to buy a house, someone who has to get to work, somebody who, and you hear their inner dialogue. It talks about how every person that you're serving matters, because you don't know how that interaction it could impact somebody. If someone might come into the Chick-fil-A upset because they just had a divorce or they just got diagnosed, but you can lift them up. And what's interesting is Arthur, with that mindset of why it matters, a young family came in there, and they have a boy who has nonverbal cerebral palsy. His name is Keith, so he can't talk. He actually uses his eyes to look into a machine, and he looks at it and it reads his eyes and allows him to type the letters. Wow. And he can talk. His name's Keith Boyd. If you get a chance to look it up.
Bless him.
He was written about in the Huffington Post. The Thrive team helped him out. But Arthur met this family, and he knows that every customer matters. So he pulls them aside and says, how are you guys, and where are you from, and what's going on? Can I get you a drink? Well, long story short, he finds out that this kid, Keith, wants to raise, I don't remember the exact number, I think it was $200,000 for the Little Lighthouse, the organization that gave him the machine that allows him to now communicate using his eyes. And so Arthur took the time to connect. Well, next thing you know, it ignited this whole movement in Tulsa. And in Tulsa, in one summer, they raised almost $200,000 for the Little Lighthouse. And now Keith's Lemonade, you can buy it in, I think, 100 different stores all across the country now.
Outstanding. I'll look for it.
Yeah, you have to do.
What a great cause to support. And notice, I didn't say I want lemonade. I love lemonade. I'll probably buy some of that lemonade because I've heard it's so good. The reason I would buy that lemonade is support the cause. In other words, the why we should go back to work tomorrow. And this is why we should open our doors today.
And this is why I want to
advancing a cause.
This is why I want to harp on this, because we study high velocity, and we study medium velocity, and then we go in, or moderate velocity, and then we say, I don't have a mission, vision, values, beliefs, standards, or systems. What if I'm a low velocity type? Then it's not going to work. And so you might, a little homework, I encourage everybody to time out, get this done, get this organizational DNA, get it in there, get the heart pumping, get the energy moving, and now let's talk about, assuming we have that, now let's talk about managing these low velocity folks. Yeah. Now, low velocity people, from your book, I'm just going to read the description because it says it's magical. It says, you are driven primarily by immediate needs or by others. You find work generally demotivating. You prefer to work as a team player rather than be a solo performer or leader of the team. You'd prefer that someone else take the lead. You seldom set big goals. You have mild aspirations, not lofty ones. You really don't like competition, avoiding it if possible. You use your energy to take things as they come. You're casual about your leisure time, which you use to pursue personal or social interests. You enjoy occasional inactivity and appreciate your downtime. Yep. How do we manage these people?
Well, First thing, they've got to see that what they're doing matters enough for them to engage in it.
Okay.
So you got to start with why it matters, and then show them how you want things done. In other words, what are the standards and the systems that have grown from those standards? And then allow them to work at their pace, which is going to be a more unimpressive pace, just like a routine in a factory or in a production line or something like that. You can find, have you ever gone in a coffee shop and you've seen a barista who is taking 20 orders a second, it seems like, and at the same time doing double latte, mocha, decaf, whatever,
grande,
with room for cream, and another thing right next to it, and they're just, juggling
Yeah, I've
things.
seen that. It's
high
amazing.
velocity types. And then you see the one that says, "Good morning. Your name's Clay, isn't it? Nice to see you again. What would you like today?" And you say, "Well, I'm kind of in a hurry. I'd like a double decaf with a shot of vanilla flavor, and give me a croissant." And they say, "Okay, I'll be right back with you." And they go over and they start, and you're thinking, "Could you hurry up?" And they're just going at a normal pace that wouldn't bother anybody except someone who's in a hurry.
There's a place in Tulsa that serves unbelievable coffee. But what the guy does is he hand makes the, you know what I mean? So if you ask for like an espresso or something.
This is a nice bean. Let's see if I can find another one.
That's what he's doing. He's grinding the deal. He's pulverizing the deal. He's doing the thing. And I just think, so let me just say, if I own it, if we go back to that cosmetic surgeon example, 10 employees, what percentage or how many of those 10 are probably low velocity out of 10 typically?
There's probably going to be a couple of them out of that, so maybe 20% of them.
20%.
Yeah.
And so those 20%, they're like, "Hey, what's going on, boss? How you doing?" They're kind of low
and
key.
they show up for work. They're fine, but they're not going to be always. If they start at 8 o'clock, they're not always going to be there at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Because low velocity person says, "Well, 8 o'clock's when we start, so I'll leave home 7:55."
So now let me ask you this:
and they get there at 8:05 and they think, "Well, why is he so concerned? Because I was here.
How do you see?
There wasn't any fire."
Well, here's kind of the problem you have: is most of the time, if you get promoted in a job, you probably have been a moderate or high velocity person to get promoted.
Yeah.
Usually, the boss, the guy who owns it. In this case, let's say this cosmetic surgeon, he owns the place. He's bringing high velocity every day. Let's go. He probably just finished listening to one of your self-help audiobooks, or he just finished reading the Acorn, principle. He is pumped. He is ready to go.
He's got the latest medical journal things in his ear.
He's ready to go.
Walking down the hallway.
And then he runs in and he encounters the low velocity person.
Yeah.
How should he manage this person? How should he not? How should he not?
He should not expect that person to be able to turn up the volume and be higher velocity while they're on the job. Because that's the thing. When you're higher velocity, you tend to, actually when you're in any of these groups, you tend to project your preferred style onto them. They should be like me.
Yeah.
They should be my way. It's like, I remember when Paula and I first married, her velocity is lower than mine. And she would say, why are you always so intense? Why you're greedy? I said, greedy? She said, well, not greedy, but you want a lot. I said, well, that's ambition. Yeah. Why are you so ambitious? Why are you so ambitious?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, but that's what makes my life feel good. And she just didn't understand it at first.
Yeah.
And she's obviously gotten to know me over the years, and we've got a wonderful relationship. We've been married 45 years this summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to marry a person with the same velocity. In fact, if you do, there's a little bit of danger to that, because low velocity marries low velocity, and neither one of them does nearly as much, and there's very little initiative taken, and they're waiting to defer to the other person. Well, I thought you were going to do that. Oh, well, I was waiting, because I thought you'd want to. Or, no one said anything, so I didn't think it mattered that much. That's the whole point. A low velocity person, main thing to think about, they need an activator.
They need
an activator, the manager. So I had a person working for me, a woman, this was in San Diego years ago, and she was a delight to work with. Low velocity, but an absolute delight. She was my personal assistant.
Okay.
So she was the one that did my correspondence, handled my phone calls,
Yeah.
So
made you look good.
Had a very important job in my company.
Yeah.
And I dealt with her every day, off and on, all day long. But there was one factor in her, or one feature, I guess, in her behavior pattern that just drove me nuts. When she would finish a task, she would go into neutral. It was like the car just ran out of gas.
Just done.
Yeah. And so she'd sit there and, she might pick up something and read, or she might diddle around in the computer on one of those little games that, that you can play that's built into the computer when you buy it. And I would go up to her and say, what are you doing? I'm just, I was done with that project a while ago.
Yeah. Finish it up. Done.
There are lots of other projects. Oh, what would you like me to do? So she's perfectly willing to engage, but she needed an activator, me, to initiate that next one. So I had to constantly assure that she saw the list of the things that needed her attention. And
you had to stay ahead of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it takes a little more effort on your part to manage a low velocity person. That's why you got to be careful with any person what position you put them into and what kind of management process you use for that person, because you do not manage cats the way you manage dogs.
Well, that's why my cat won't sit. I'm always like, just sit.
Correct.
Just sit. And
the cat looks at you like, what?
I'm going to stop trying to train my cat and stop trying to eat that fruit after today's lesson. If you're watching this, you're high velocity. You, as soon as you're done with your job, you're now looking for something else to do for psychological reasons.
Yeah.
You just emotionally have to do stuff. That's why vacations make me crazy. But I have to just go. And then the low velocity is like, all right, cool, let's lay out on the beach. Yeah. And I'm like, let's excavate the beach. Let's build something on the beach. So you have these different personality types. I think one word that I think is dangerous for an organization, and I want to have you unpack this, is when you see two different velocity groups get annoyed with the other. And I see this a lot where you see, and we're going to go with this cosmetic surgeon example, but he's a high velocity guy and he's now annoyed with the low velocity. Once that happens, once you cross that line of kind of the respect starts to erode, talk to me about the danger of, instead of working with all these three different groups, if you start to get annoyed, or you said judgmental.
Well, that's the judgment, because judgment pollutes the relationship.
Okay.
And you've got to remove it in order to get on with the relationship. So you can't feign a lack of judgment. Like if I believe that my coworker is low velocity and shouldn't be, they should fix themselves.
Get out the taser.
Because that's just the wrong way to be. Then, like this woman that worked with me in San Diego, there was no way I was going to change her velocity, but I could change her performance on the job. By identifying the standards and the systems, getting her to agree to it, and by supervising her more than I would supervise someone who was self-starting.
So you're not going to change the person, but you can change the quality of the work they produce through those standards and stuff.
But if you believe, this person is a loser and they never initiate things, they're not very creative, they're slow in the mind, because they're not coming up with new ideas.
Slow in the mind. Yeah, it's not offensive. You're just slow in the mind.
And that's not a fact. That's your judgment of them because their pattern is different from you.
Right.
If you do that, then you're never going to activate them, because first off, they realize you don't respect them. They don't see any reason to care about you or the work that they're doing for you. Okay. Because if you don't care about them, to heck with you. Right. And oh, by the way, I don't feel very well. I'm calling in sick. Oh. Yeah, and they're not sick, but they're not sick at work, so they're better. Yeah, I remember having a job years ago that I was miserable in that job. It was a bill collector job at a bank. And I hated that every call I made was a call that was adversarial. Yeah. And I would take longer than necessary breaks just to get the stress level down and to...
You're in the restroom for like 3 hours. Like, are you okay, Jim?
Well, actually, I would go to the restroom and stand there and look out the window at the traffic. Instead, it was on the 9th floor. So I'd watch the traffic down below, and I'd stand there. I had no reason to use the restroom except as an escape. And I'm standing there watching traffic for 5 or 10 minutes, whatever I think I can get away with. Yeah. And then I'd go back to work. And I did my work, but I hated my work.
I remember at Target.
And it's even worse. I didn't respect my boss because I had to collect off of him at a previous company.
Oh, really?
He was a personal bad debt guy, and yet had gotten a job as the manager of a bill collection department in a bank, and I was working there. Yeah.
I just remember when I worked at Target, we had Pretzelgate, where a lot of us, we didn't like the manager, and we didn't want to do our job.
Yeah.
So he'd say, you cannot eat pretzels during shifts. Like, absolutely. And then all of us would go up there and just like, guys,
Sure.
who ate all the pretzel? We don't know. We just, it was a way of like therapeutically, the manager, he didn't motivate us. We were annoyed by him. There wasn't, and this right here, no matter what your idea is, no matter what kind of business you have to be able to manage people of all different velocities.
Absolutely.
And you can't.
Let me interrupt.
Yeah, sure.
The military. I was in the Army during the Vietnam era. I didn't go to Vietnam. I served in the National Guard and the Army Reserve, and went to officers candidate school and became an infantry training officer. But I was initially trained as a combat medic and hospital corpsman. And I remember, that platoon or company that I was in, and the platoon that I was individually assigned to, was a mix of every kind of velocity you can imagine.
Yeah.
And we had people that would never do more than was absolutely necessary.
Right.
And people that would always be the first one there trying to, lead the world.
Yeah.
If our sergeant hadn't reminded us constantly that what you're doing will be a life or death skill or habit when you get across the pond to Vietnam.
Yeah.
If they hadn't reminded us of that, many of the things we went through we would have done for compliance only. Okay, this is the move you wanted with the bayonet. All right, this is the thing you want me to do. Yeah. Okay. What's the least slow I can run in order to complete
slow.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's the whole point. You got to constantly remind people of why what they're doing matters.
I would say this, if you're watching this and you're a leader or manager, why do you have to keep talking about why? Because this is the heartbeat of your business. And so some action items I want to encourage everybody watching this to do. I have a whole bunch of them here for you. But one is I encourage you to look at your staff and try to figure out the velocity of these people. It might be something you develop over a few months, or you might have observed them enough to already know. But figure out the velocity types of all your employees. Make sure you do that so you know where they're at. But kind of figure out who these folks are. Go ahead and put it on paper so you get an idea of who they are and what kind of personality types. The next thing we need to do is we need to get our organizational DNA together. And I bet you, if you're being honest, I bet you 9 out of 10 of us watching this right now, we do not have our mission statement written down. We do not have a vision written down. We do not have our values written down. And we do not have our beliefs written down. We need to write down all of those things. We need to do that. And it's going to take some time. So figure out when are you going to do it? When are you going to schedule it?
And every one of those should be the drivers for the systems you create. So the system should always grow from the vision, the mission, vision, and values and beliefs, instead of coming up with a system because it's efficient.
Don't screw this up. Don't do the standards and systems first. You want to get your mission, your vision, your values and beliefs. Then we want to work on our standards and systems. And once you have that, and you know who your people are, you're going to begin to experience so much more growth in the organization. You're going to start to see more prosperity, more profits. You're going to see a happier work environment. Things are all going to change.
People are going to start bringing a lot more initiative and a lot more contribution to their work. They'll be engaged because they care.
Well, and in closing, I just want to make sure everybody's hearing this. We're talking about today is it requires a lot of sweat equity, a lot of time, but we didn't say go buy this thing, because I'm telling you, I work with you guys, small business owners all over the world, business
I know
owners.
where you live.
and a lot of times we want to buy the new thing.
Yeah.
We're like, if I can just get everybody up on this new software, then we're going to start, or if I can just buy everyone new desks.
Hey, there's an app for that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I just encourage you to go ahead and take these action items, begin to transform your organization. And Jim, I can't tell you thank you enough for letting us come into your home. You are a living legend, and you've won this Golden Gavel Award that, again, I'm amazed, but Walter Cronkite has won this award. You've got Robert Schuller has won this award. I mean, you are Earl Nightingale has won this award.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in rare air, my friend. So thank you for just taking the time out of your schedule to allow us to be here with you today.
Oh, it's a treat, and I love this conversation. Thank you, Clay.
All right, JT, so hypothetically, in your mind, what is the purpose of having a business?
To get you to your goals. So it's a vehicle to get you to your destination.
And would you need profits to get there? I mean, is when you have a business that's successful, in your mind, in your expert opinion,
would you need profits to get you to your goals?
Yeah, because if you have a $15 million business, but you have $15 million of expenses, it's kind of pointless.
Holy crap!
All right, so the question I would have here for you, if you could take 10 minutes or less and see if you could save $3,000 a year by reducing your credit card fees, would you do it?
Yes, absolutely.
Holy crap!
Why would somebody out there who's listening right now who has a sane mind, why would they not go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card, thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card to schedule a 10-minute consultation to see if they can reduce their credit card fees by at least $3,000 a year.
Why would they not do it?
Yeah, why would they not do it?
Maybe because they didn't understand how you said the website.
This tree is a symbol of the spirit of the Griswold family Christmas.
No, that's clear. Okay, so that could be true. So I would encourage everybody to check out thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card, thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. What would be another reason why someone would not be willing to take 10 minutes to compare rates to see if they could save $3,000 or more on credit card fees?
Maybe they think it is a waste of time and that it won't. It's not possible.
If there's somebody out there that's making more than $3,000 every 10 minutes, and they're like, nah, that's not worth my time.
We getting there, right money. We getting there, right money.
There's probably someone out there
Okay.
that would think that.
Well, I'll just tell you, folks, if you're out there today and you're making less than $3,000 per 10 minutes, I would highly recommend that you go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card because you can compare rates, you can save money. And, the big goal, in my opinion, of building a business is to create time freedom and financial freedom. And in order to do that, you have to maximize your profits.
Holy crap!
Now, one way to maximize your profits is to increase your revenue. Another way to do it is to decrease your expenses.
It's a profit deal. It takes the pressure off.
JT, is there any other reason why somebody would not be willing to take 10 minutes to compare rates to see if they could save a total of $3,000 a year on average?
I am at a loss and I cannot think of any other.
Shampoo is better. I go on first and clean the hair. Conditioner is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth. Oh, really, fool? Really? Stop looking at me, Swan.
Well, let me tell you a good story here real quick here. I actually, years ago, compared rates with this company here called IPS. It's Integrated Payment Services. And I scheduled a consultation. I don't know that I was skeptical. I just thought, whatever, I'll take 10 minutes. I'll compare rates.
I can't tell. You can tell me I'm a doctor. No, I mean, I'm just not sure. Or can't you take a guess? Well, not for another 2 hours. You can't take a guess for another 2 hours?
And in my case, in my particular case, I save over $20,000 a year.
Holy crap!
Wow.
Which is, like groceries when my wife goes to the organic stores.
Find everything you need today?
Yeah.
Great, okay.
Oh, God. No.
Everything okay, ma'am?
It's just that you've only scanned a few items and it's already $60. I'm so scared.
Okay, I'm a trained professional, ma'am. I've scanned a lot of groceries. I need you to stay with me.
It's just that my in-laws are in town and they want a charcuterie board.
Well, this isn't gonna be easy, so I need you to be brave, all right? What's your name?
Patricia.
Patricia, all right. I need you to take a deep breath. We're about to do the cheese.
That's the difference between eating organic and not organic. So because my wife eats organic, I had to take the 10 minutes needed to compare rates to save the $20,000 a year on credit card fees just for one of my companies.
One question. What's the brand name of the clock?
The brand name of the clock, Rod. Do we have name of the clock? It's an elegant from Ridgeway. It's from Ridgeway.
Let's
Buy the clock.
and sell the fireplace.
So I encourage everybody out there, go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. You schedule a free consultation, request information. A member of our team will call you. They'll schedule a free consultation. It should take you 10 minutes or less. And they're going to compare rates and see if they can't save you more than $3,000 a year off of your credit card processing.
You were hoping what?
I wouldn't owe you money at the end of the
No,
day.
you don't owe us money.
Because at the end of the day, the goal of a business is to create time freedom and financial freedom. In order to do that, you need to create additional profits.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and our ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you are looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing. And this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, but I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you. If we go back 8 years ago, think about the number of clients you had back then versus the number of clients you have now. As a percentage, what has been the growth over the past 8 years, do you think? We got to inspire somebody out there who just doesn't have the time to listen to their calls.
Okay, so Clay, it's like I would go up and down from about $10,000 a month up to about $40,000, but it's up and down roller coaster. And so now we've got it to where we're in excess of 100 clients.
That's awesome.
And so I would have anywhere from 5 clients to 20 clients on my own with networking, but I had no control over it. I didn't, without the systems, you're going to be victimized by your own business.
For somebody out there who struggles with math, if you, let's say that your average number of clients was 30 and you go to 100, as a percentage, what is that?
I have doubled every year since working with you. So I've doubled in clients, I've doubled in revenue every year. It's 100% growth every year I've worked with. Now, so I'm looking, we've been good friends 7-8 years, and I've got doubled 5 times.
Which is just incredible. I mean, the first time you do it, that's one thing, but when you do it repeatedly,
yeah,
I mean, that's unbelievable.
We're working our Blessed Assurance off this year to double. We're planning on doubling again. We're incorporating new some new things in there to really help us do it, but we are going to double again this year. I started coaching, but it would go up and down, Clay. That's when I came to you, as I was going up and down, and I wanted to go up and up instead of up and down. And so that's when it needed a system. So creating a system is you have nailed down specific steps that you're going to take no matter how you feel, no matter the results. You lean into them and you do them regardless of what's happening. You lean into them and it will give you X number of leads. You follow up with those leads, turns into sales. Well, I tell you, it's if you don't have a script and you don't have a system, then every day is a whole new creation. You're creating a lot of energy just to figure out what are you going to do.
Right.
And the best executives, Peter Drucker is a father of modern management. He said, the most effective executives make one decision a year. What you do is you make a decision, what is your system, and then you work like the Dickens to make sure you follow that system. And so that's really what it's all about. So with a script here, we have a brand new gal that just came in working for us. She nailed down the script, and she's been nailing down appointments. Usually we try to get one appointment for every 100 calls. We make 200 to 300 calls a day per rep.
Right.
And she's been nailing down 5 and 8 appointments a day.
Somebody out there's having a hard time.
That script.
So she's making how many calls a day?
She's making between 200 and 300 calls a day.
Whoa. And our relationship is weird in that we do. If someone were to buy an Apple computer today, and or let's say you bought a personal computer, a PC, the computer is made by, let's say, Dell, but then the software in the computer would be Microsoft, let's say, or Adobe or whatever that is. So I basically make the systems. And you're like the computer, and I'm like the software. It's kind of how I would describe our relationship. Yeah. Tim, I want to ask you this. You and I reconnected. I think it was in the year 2000 and what was it? Maybe 2010. Is that right? 2011, maybe, or no, maybe further down the road. Maybe 2013.
2012.
Okay, so 2012, and at that time I was 5 years removed from the DJ business, and you were how many years removed from tax and accounting software?
It was about 10, 11 years.
We met, how did we re-meet? What was the first interaction? There was some interaction where you and I first connected. I just remember that somehow you and I went to Hideaway Pizza. But do you remember when we first reconnected?
Yeah. Well, we had that speaking thing that...
there it was. So it was Victory Christian Center. I was speaking there.
My name is Robert Redmond. I actually first met Clay almost 3 years ago to the day. I don't know if he remembers it or not, but I wasn't working with him at the time. I asked to see him and just ask him some questions to help, direct my life, to get some mentorship. But I've been working with Clay for now just over a year. The role I play here is a business coach, business consultant. I work with different businesses, implementing best practice processes and systems that I have learned here by working with Clay. And the experience working here has, to put it real plainly, has been just life-changing. I have not only learned new things and have gained new knowledge, but I have gained a whole new mindset that I believe wherever I end up will serve me well throughout the rest of my life. Since working with Clay, I have learned so much. I mean, I would like to say almost everything about business in terms of the different categories. I haven't learned it all. But I've learned all about marketing. I've learned about advertising. I've learned about branding. I've learned how to create a sales process for organizations in any industry. I've learned how to sell. I've learned how to create repeatable systems and processes and hold people accountable. How to hire people. It's almost like every aspect of a business you can learn. I have learned a lot in those different categories. And then, again, the mindset that I've gained here has been huge. Working here, you can't be a mediocre person. You are a call to a higher standard of excellence, and then as you're called to that standard here, you begin to see those outcomes in every area of your life. That standard of excellence that you want to implement, no matter what you're involved in. I would like to describe the other people that work with Clay are people that are going somewhere with their life. Marshall in the group interview talks about how the best fits for this organization are the people that are goal-oriented. So they're on their own trajectory, and we're on our own trajectory. And the best fits are those people where there can be a mutually beneficial relationship, that as we pursue our goals and we help the business pursue those goals, the business helps us pursue our goals as well. And so I'd say people that are driven, people that want to make something of their lives, people that are goal-oriented, they're focused, and they're committed to overcoming any adversity that may come their way. Clay's passion for helping business owners grow their businesses it's unique in that I don't know if there's anyone else that can be as passionate. Whenever a business starts working with Clay, it's almost as like Clay is running that business in the sense that he has something at stake. He's just serving them. They're one of his clients, but it's as if he is actively involved in the business. Whenever they have a win, he's posting it all over his social media. He's shouting it across the room here at Thrive. He's sending people encouraging messages. He can kind of be that life coach and business coach in terms of being that a motivator and that champion for people's businesses. It's again unique because there's no one else I've seen get so excited about and passionate about other people's businesses. The kind of people that wouldn't like working with Clay are people that are satisfied with mediocrity. People that want to get through life by just doing enough, by just getting by. People who are not looking to develop themselves, people who are not coachable, people who think that they know it all and they're unwilling to change. I would say those are the type of people. In short, anyone that's content with mediocrity would not like working with Clay. So if you're meeting Clay for the first time, the advice I'd give you is definitely come ready to take tons of notes. Every time Clay speaks, he it gives you a wealth of knowledge that you don't want to miss. I remember the first time that I met Clay. I literally carried a notebook with me all around. I was looking at this notebook the other day, actually. I carried a notebook with me all around, and I just took tons of notes. I filled the entire notebook in about 3 or 4 months, just from being around Clay, following him, and learning from him. And then I would say, come coachable. Be open to learning something new. Be open to challenging yourself. Be open to learning and adjusting parts about you that need to be adjusted.